I don't want to sit here and be yet another guy on YouTube bashing on Lawrence Stroll. No, I don't think he's that bad a driver, right? These latest comments from Andy Cowell, right? Now let's talk about some of these people, right? Andy Cowell, Enrico Cardile, Adrian Newey, all these people, highly rated. No one forced them to go to Aston Martin. Now, when you go to this Aston Martin F1 team, we know what the lay of the land is. Lawrence Stroll's the boss. He decides the driver lineups. I bet with freedom, the people like Cowell and Cardile would like to change the driver lineup. I'm sure of it. And yet they don't. They're scared. And they just went to that team for the money, and that's the only reason they are there. They didn't go there because they want to win world championships. Isn't any team that has ambitions for the future aren't they supposed to chase the best drivers available? Even if you're a backmarker team, if you know one of the top drivers in the sport of F1 is out of contract for next year, aren't you supposed to at least try? Like James Vowles chasing Carlos Sainz. Sauber chasing Carlos Sainz. You're supposed to do that. You want the best drivers. You have George Russell, right, out of contract. His boss, Toto Wolff, dithering on the contract. I don't know why, but he's out of contract. One of the best drivers on the grid, right? We got Verstappen's the best, okay. And then quickly behind him, Leclerc, Russell, and Piastri and Norris, right? Top 5 driver. Why are Aston not going after Russell? He's out of contract. Why didn't they go after Carlos Sainz last year? They're not even in the conversation for Carlos Sainz. Now George Russell's out of contract. Where's let's grab ourselves a top line driver. No. Okay, you're at Aston Martin. You have to accept the drivers that are there, but no one forces you to go to Aston Martin. You go there for the money. You don't go there to win. We're incredibly fortunate that we've got 2 incredibly experienced drivers signed for the next 2 years. That means I can just focus on trying to help improve the business and the art of making a fast race car. I know that experience counts. He said further, we feel lucky to have Lance and Fernando. They're both very strong, very experienced, and work together exceptionally well. I know how popular Fernando Alonso is. I know he's a legend. I think he's still doing a good job considering but we know he's getting older. So firstly, we don't know if this was a spec series, could I back Fernando Alonso against drivers like Leclerc, Russell, Piastri, Norris, who are in the prime of their racing career? And on that, Aston Martin are the only team I've ever seen where the reserve driver is possibly their fastest driver. So I don't back Alonso against the top guys that are in the prime that I just mentioned, that are in their mid to late 20s. I'm sorry, maybe 5-10 years ago, yes, but I don't anymore. I'm being honest, right? And I don't see, unless in 2026 or 27, unless that Aston Martin car is far ahead of the competition, hell, Alonso has any chance at another world championship or a race win. But that's a side issue, right? I've never seen a team where the reserve driver hops in for the FP1 session. I'm talking about Felipe Drugovich, and he's faster than the regular drivers. And this doesn't happen once, this happens a couple of times every year. I've never seen anything like it. And this guy, Drugovich, is not like, you know, some of the reserve drivers are meek and mild. This guy is cocky, he's full of confidence, he just strolls up. Yeah, you know, sunglasses on, yeah, I'm fast. Hops in the car for FP1. A couple of tenths quicker than Lawrence Stroll. Now, even last year he's quicker than Fernando. And I'm just wondering, well, how good is this guy? They don't even explore the option of Drugovich. They don't explore it, they don't want to know. But isn't that what the best teams do in Formula One? You promote he puts the times on the board in FP1. You know, when you look at other drivers in FP1 who are reserve drivers, very rarely, if ever, you rarely ever see them go faster than the regular drivers. Rarely. This is amazing, and they don't explore that option for a start. They don't chase down drivers that are available. Max Verstappen has not left Red Bull. But Christian Horner's already talking to George Russell, as the rumours said. That I don't care about the rumours, but the point is, if you're an proper F1 team, you're supposed to chase the best drivers available. But Aston Martin are happy to live in a fantasy world. They're happy to close their eyes, to watch right in front of them every day. There's a giant elephant in the room. And they're happy to just sit there, ignore it, and pretend that it's not there and everything's all right. They just... and listen, the amount of money being spent, as I said, these people don't have to be at Aston Martin. They chose to go there, right? By Mike Krack, who felt more like a Lawrence Stroll. Yes, man. But guess what? That didn't work out. Right? And when I saw his comments, Mike Krack constantly came to the media, this team is built around Lawrence Stroll. What do you mean the team is built around Lawrence Stroll? When you had a good car back in 2023, who was getting the results? You just have to look, even when the car was still decent, at the beginning of 2024, who was getting the results? Who got the points? And you're telling me, are you having us on, or are you trying to send us a secret message that these highly rated engineers take the big money and they go to Aston Martin to take the big money? They're just there and they're selling the fairy dust to Lawrence Stroll. Oh, I'm a highly experienced engineer. Of course I can help your son win races. I've got lots of experience, just hire me. And they get paid more money than they would at the other teams. Look at McLaren, right? That's a proper racing team. They hunted down Oscar Piastri, right? Daniel Ricciardo was a star driver, but he wasn't pulling the results. They kicked him out. They hunted down Oscar Piastri, paid the big bucks, put him in the car. That's a proper racing team. Look at Mercedes, two academy drivers. Red Bull, they're a little bit shaky, but you get the point. All academy drivers across two teams. Ferrari, well, I'm not going to talk too much about Ferrari, but Williams, right? Great example. Okay, we're not talking about academy drivers in Carlos Sainz and Alex Albon, but you can see, right, Carlos Sainz is a very strong driver in his prime, and he was hunted down by James Vowles because that was the best driver available. That's a proper Formula One team, not Aston Martin, who are playing make-believe. They're just playing make-believe. Even even Sauber, you know, they hunted down Bortoletto because he's an F2 champion. They want talent in their team. They hunted down Hulkenberg. It's the same team, right? Hulkenberg was impressing at Haas. Now, Aston Martin is supposed to be a top team, right? They have Adrian Newey, Cadillac, Cowell, Honda engines, money, new facilities, chase the best drivers. Are you a serious team or not? Is this team actually... Are they serious about Formula One? When I was young, I heard old anecdote. Don't mix the professional and the personal. I'll say that again. Don't mix the professional and the personal. You don't make your wife your secretary. So what's happening at Aston Martin? As Formula One, you've got to be hungry to win, right? But people that I'm criticising, these people that know what Aston Martin are, can look and see and still go there. When they know you're going to build the best car in the world, but you won't have the best drivers driving. Because Lawrence Stroll, he just wants one thing. He has a recipe for his driver lineup, and you don't get a say in it, right? So one seat, permanently, the boss's son, Lawrence Stroll. Okay, I'm not here to say he's the worst driver. I'm not here to say that he shouldn't be in Formula One, but I think this team wants to be the best. Don't know why are you pumping all this money, building facilities. What for? There's other drivers, but like look who's out of contract, right? Both the Mercedes drivers. That's a start, right? That's a start. Last year, Carlos Sainz. No effort from Aston Martin to chase people like that. No effort. Why? Are they serious? You know, the top team has got to sign me. You know, if you're the best team out there, surely you want the fastest driver. Well, it doesn't seem to be that way these days. I don't really get it. But anyway, well, it is, but not with Aston Martin. They just want, they don't really want the best drivers available. I don't know if anyone at that team takes this sport seriously. And I think Lawrence Stroll just has this formula, you know, one side is Lance, and on the other side is a former world champion. Like, so he wants to pair Lance with a former world champion. That's the formula. You get no say in it, and I don't understand why any self-respecting engineer who considers himself one of the best in Formula One would go there other than to make a lot of money. And of course, as we see, a lot of people are struggling for money, so it makes sense, right? You think, oh well, I'm Enrico Cardilli, you know, I'm a really good engineer, I deserve this much money every year, and Lawrence Stroll's going to pay it to me. Maybe they're not going to win because I don't really think they have the best driver lineup, but I'm not going to say anything. And I mean, that's the elephant in the room. No matter how many, like, it makes a difference. People want to pretend, oh, we're going to propel Lance Stroll to a driver's world title. Well, no, of course not. I don't think so. No, now with this budget cap, Formula One is, with that, you know, Formula One's becoming more like a spec series. It's not a spec series, but it is, you know, like, you know, you got to have the right plan. You have to have the right plan. You have to have the right idea of what you're going to do. Now, Aston Martin, it's sort of unspoken, like, there's negative mentality, right? You went there because you wanted to get a salary that reflected your quality as how wonderful you are as an engineer. And if you have no say in the drivers, and you're just stuck with, oh well, the boss wants these drivers and one of them's his son, I think the mentality there must be very negative. I don't think that if you're Andy Cowell and you're honestly, I don't think you're standing there saying, well, oh, we're so lucky to have Lawrence Stroll and Fernando Alonso as our drivers. I don't think so. I don't think that's honest from him. I don't think it was honest from Mike Krack. I don't think it's honest from anyone there. They probably deep down inside think, my goodness, why can't we just get some proper drivers that just don't seem invested in it? They don't care. I feel like that's just Aston Martin, and no one's allowed to say anything, but I think they chose to go there, and that's like, well, why did you, I'm not here to bash Lance Stroll, right? I'm really not, okay? And I think, given his money, if Lawrence Stroll really wanted to keep Lance in Formula One, he could, he should, but I don't think it should be at a team that he's pumping in a lot of money and saying that, oh, we want to win. I just don't get it. When you're a top engineer in F1, how can you go to a team like that? What is your thinking? It's like you see this team that wants to be divorced from reality, and you want to go there and you want to take on that mindset of, we're just going to look away from that giant elephant in the corner of the room. We're going to pretend we're not going to see it. Maybe he says, oh, you don't get a say in the drivers. It's going to be Lance. And we've got Alonso. I'll find another former world champion to... okay, well, aren't you going to... If you're self-respecting, don't you say this is not for me? I'm not going to live in your fantasy world. These comments from Andy Cowell are ridiculous. I can't believe he's saying it. I really can't. It's like Mike Krack Part 2 playing make-believe. And, like, oh, no, Lance Stroll is the best driver possible on the grid. We're not going to chase other drivers. I know the engineers, they probably don't want to talk about driver performance, but Andy Cowell's the team boss. Why would you go there to Aston Martin and you don't have a chance to pick drivers? And when you look at the resources and the partners that they're going to have, right? They're going to have Honda. They've got Aramco, the experts in sustainable fuel. Adrian Newey. It's all, but no one, they can't bring themselves to chase down the best drivers. Seriously, tell me. And again, I'm not saying Lance Stroll should not be on the grid. But if you're saying that you want to win and you're paying all this money to have the best engineers in the world working at your team, then it doesn't make sense, right? Yeah, and even if Lawrence Stroll, rewind back to 2019, 2020, call yourselves Racing Point, put in enough money just to keep the team going, stay at the back of the grid, let Lance enjoy himself, don't spend too much money. That makes sense too, right? You're ultra rich. You're very rich, your son's going to drive in Formula One, and who knows, if he improves over the years, maybe he'll get picked up by a top team. Probably not. Maybe you can pay for that, but no, you're actually spending all this money to build you spend all the money for the best engineers in F1. The amount of talented engineers going there, I don't understand. Does anyone actually want to win over there, or they just go there, make the money, pull the wool over Lawrence Stroll's eyes? Oh yeah, you just wait and see, I'm the best engineer, I'm going to change everything. And I think, Mike Krack was trying to tell us that. He said so many times, oh, this team's built around Lance, when he had a terrible Grand Prix, just driving into the back of Daniel Ricciardo, stuck it in the wall while Alonso's scoring points, and it's like, oh no, this team is built around Lance. Do you see Can you actually see? No, I don't think you can see. I don't think, and I don't think anyone at this Aston Martin team care or care about reality or anything. I've said enough. I'm done with it. Okay, I know he's probably going to sell it. It just doesn't make sense. I can't piece it all together. Like now coming to Cadillac, I'm amazed. Now I want to say I'm not against Jacques Wagner getting a second chance in F1. I'd be happy to see him come back. I think I'm not overly enthused, of course, but he's not bad. He was in a very tough situation with a lousy car for 3 years basically, and trying to keep up with Valtteri Bottas, who is a 10-time race winner. So I think he's okay. And I don't know what it was like for Joe at Sauber last year. They're probably like, I think a lot of people there didn't want him there, and it's probably a negative atmosphere. I like to see what he can do, but when we talk about teams that don't want to face reality, like talk about Aston Martin, now I've got to talk about Cadillac. You got to be kidding me, right? Like you're talking about Sergio Perez, he's done, he's finished, he's forget about saying, oh, Liam Lawson's making Sergio Perez look good. I can't believe Mario Andretti said that. I really can't. I think this team was the heart and soul of it was his son Michael Andretti, and now uh, Sergio Perez. No, I mean he was finished. I don't want to bash Perez too much, but the thing is that Liam Lawson when he stepped into that Red Bull at the beginning of this year, he was entering his first full season of Formula One, going to a circuit. I don't know how many times he's been to China or Albert Park. I don't know if he's been there before or not. Sergio Perez in 2024 was a veteran Formula One driver, has been there since 2011. Back in 2011, like Lewis Hamilton only had one world championship. Now he's got seven. What's happened since 20? Imagine all that time, and not only that, he's like chucked into Red Bull. Okay, Perez had years and years and years to grow in different teams, but he's just had a couple of not even half, just a couple of brief stints in the Racing Bulls car. How can you compare seriously Sergio Perez with Liam Lawson? And then you know what? Yuki Tsunoda's got last three Grand Prix stuck it into Q3. I don't think he went out in Q3 in Q1 yet. Of course, he might stink for the rest of the year, but that's not the point, right? I don't understand. I don't understand this business about Sergio Perez to Cadillac. People are going to say the money, the money, the money. How's Cadillac plus Guggenheim, Gainbridge? How do they need Sergio Perez money? Do they want it, or what's going on here? I don't get it. I thought these people had to be vetted by the FIA and then the Formula One management, and and then they said they want the American driver. Well, what about Jack Crawford? He just put it on pole in Jeddah, right? Okay, third season Formula 2 driver. I know third season, big problem for a lot of people out there. But still only, I don't think he's had his 20th birthday yet. He's about to have his 20th birthday. I'm recording this on the 29th of April, 2025. Yeah, within the next 2 weeks, I think Jack Crawford turns 20. You know, left the United States, North Carolina, at 14 years old to race in Europe, doesn't even have an American accent. I think you hear Jack Crawford talk, you don't go, oh, American. He's not like that, man. I come from North Carolina. It doesn't sound like that at all. It sounds, I don't know what his accent sounds like. I can't describe it. Like, there's a hint of American there, but I probably would have thought it. If I heard him talking, I didn't know who he was, where he was from, or maybe I think he's Austrian, I don't know. Or Dutch. He's like, I, so, I don't know. He doesn't speak like a Dutchman, I suppose, but he's, doesn't, that's how long, that's how young he was when he left home to make it. Like, that's, you know, you can't say that about the other American drivers. I don't want to put people down, right? That's dedication, you know. That's dedication. A young American left his home at 14 years old, went to Europe, left so young it doesn't have an American accent anymore. Can't tell. You listen to him, is that guy in America? I can't tell. That's not an American accent. And then you're telling me, oh, they're looking at Sergio Perez. He was finished. Forget the driving skills. Mentally, he was finished at the end of 20. He was finished at the end of 2023. At the end of 2024, he was beyond finished. He's like a delaminated tyre. Lewis Hamilton's tyres at the end of the 2020 British Grand Prix. That's Sergio Perez. He's done. It's over. It's you. How can anyone compare Liam Lawson in his first full season, unprepared, with a veteran driver like Sergio Perez? It's done. It's finished. Of course, I know I'm saying this, and maybe next year he's going to be great at Cadillac, but I highly doubt it. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be mean. Like, think about it. Sergio Perez had a great career in Formula One, long career, achieved a lot, and so, firstly, in my perspective, someone should get a chance, right? Someone that hasn't had a chance. You know, to me, I feel so different from these other Formula One fans. As I said, like, I don't want to see someone hanging around for 20, 25 years, dragging it out for as long as possible, going, oh, win one more Grand Prix. No, you've had your chance. Let someone else have a chance, right? That's the way this sport should work. You come in as a hot shot around late, well, now it's the late teens with Antonelli and Bear Moon and that. But say 20 years old, you come in as a hot shot, and then you go up the grid, you become an elite level driver by your late 20s, and then maybe you fall off a bit, maybe you have a stint at a midfield team, and then between 35 and 40, it's time to be shipped out. Yeah, well, that to me that's normal. I don't understand. Like, you got to move on. Someone else has to have a chance. I don't understand. And then you want to say, hey, hang on, F2FAN500, Cadillac are a new team and an inexperienced driver. Okay, I get you, but you know what? Perez was finished. Mentally, he was done. He was finished. Right? So what's this Cadillac car going to have? A driver like Perez who's trying to find his confidence? Again, like, oh, yeah, well, it's not just about experience. He's he's going to go to the racetrack. All that mental pressure is back in his head, and I don't get the Liam Lawson thing at all. And they're not trying to chase. A lot of drivers are contracted for next year, but still, they're not chasing current drivers. You know, Sonoda's not. He's not contracted for next year. They're not chasing. Why don't they? So we're going to see I mean, if you're a new team coming in, okay, you want the best drivers that are available to help. You need an experienced driver. Okay, I get that. I get that, but I think Bottas is more mentally in the right place. And again, if you want to talk about sponsorship or money or whatever, how come this? No, how did Cadillac, Guggenheim? How do they need Perez's money? I don't. I'm lost here, man. I don't want to bash on Perez. He was a excellent driver in his day, but you know, I mean, we already have Aston Martin. Their driver lineup feels like a science experiment. And now Cadillac are sort of going the same way. I mean, even I think like at least try and get a big name signing, get someone, get the Herbert Haas. Grosjean was okay at the time, like he was a current driver, and Magnussen was a good driver from Renault. I mean, what about Mercedes? They started off okay. Schumacher was a little bit like finished at that point, but he still had a lot to give. Uh, Rosberg, fast young driver, was a punt, but it worked out. He did the business for Mercedes. There haven't been many new teams recently that are. I don't know, man. I just don't understand when you. I mean, Guan Yu, I think, deserves a second chance, but he's a bit of a risk. He did get out qualified quite handily by Bottas. So if you got Guan Yu in one car, I don't think you want Perez in the other car. I don't know who the best, the fast. I think they should be playing for Sonoda. I think he's the best current driver that is available for that team. I don't understand the I just don't get it. Why are you gonna Perez? He could be finished. I don't know. I suppose he was always good for midfield teams like Force India and that. Force India, who'd they start with? Start off with Liozzi and Fisichella. That's who they started off with. Liozzi, he was a gamble. Red Bull guy, had a year under his belt, I think, or a little bit of experience, not much. Fisichella was obviously very experienced, but I don't know. Fisichella didn't look that washed in 2007 the way Perez looked absolutely finished. It's like, I don't know. I mean, it's a tough one, Cadillac, because who could they pick? I think Bottas should be if they really, but I think do you really need that experience? I think Joe Grenier's a good choice because he's still young, but he's got 3 years under his belt. I mean, more than 50 Grand Prix. How much, almost like 75 Grand Prix, close to that, probably 70 Grand Prix, like how much experience do you need? Right, and he's already bringing he should be bringing a lot of sponsors with him, right? Singha, isn't it? Is that the one? I think so, like Chinese money. I'm not against them because I think he's a reasonable driver. He still has something to offer. Who are you going to put? Like, that's experience, right? Why do you need someone that's like in their late 30s and it's. You don't even need Bottas or Perez, I think, if you got the Zhou Guan Yu. Like, he's already got experience, right? And you can take the fastest possible rookie driver you can. If it has to be an American, why would you pick? I don't want to talk about Colton Herta because I don't want to put him down. I think and all this talk about super license points will go and do Formula Regional Oceania. You'll probably win it. 18 points there. You already got 30. Don't talk to me about that. I don't want to hear about it. Even if you don't win it, you only need 10 points. You can finish in the like top five. You got your points, mate. Um, super license points. Uh, I don't know who else for this Cadillac. I've got. I mean, there's so many fast young drivers. Like, if it has to be in America, I'd go Jack Crawford. I think he finished fifth in the F2 Championship last year. He finished seventh in 2022 in F3. So I think he should be very close to having super license points. Seventh in F3, fifth in F2. I don't think that should be super license points, but that's a matter for another day. I'm sure it is. I think it's like 30 points for fifth in F2, 30, 25, and you'll get some for F3. Maybe do a couple of FP1 sessions. Boom, you got your super license points. I don't see the issue. Jack Crawford should have them, and I think he's the. If it has to be an American, should be Jack Crawford. Otherwise, they have. If they, I mean, obviously, if you have Zhou Guan Yu, you want on one car, you probably want an American in the other car. If you're the all-American team, you know. Otherwise, if I leave Americana out of it, I mean, Felipe Drugovich, he's fast. He looks fast anyway. I don't know for sure, but like, uh, who else is there? There's Paul Aron. There's whoever's going to win this is Victor Martins. Yeah, some really good drivers on the or path, or they could get a Patricio Award. I'd rather see Patricio Award get the Cadillac seat than Sergio Perez. He's just, I know he's so popular, but I could be wrong. Perez is a fighter. I know that he could have a great season. I don't know. I don't see it. I don't believe it. To me, he looked finished. He looked absolutely wrecked. And I know, Gasly, Albon, they've rebuilt their career. If you're going to have Perez, don't have Zhou Guan Yu. Simple. If you're going to have Sergio Perez, have Jack Crawford, right? Don't pick Sergio Perez and Zhou Guan Yu. Well, I don't think, honestly, I know that, I just feel like the heart and soul of this team was Michael Andretti. He doesn't get enough credit because, it's sort of like, I know the whole political crap that went on, but, he was forced aside so that because they didn't like him at Formula One management. That's the rumour. But the thing is that, he's the one that got the facilities built, got the car, put it in the wind tunnel, got it built. I mean, really, they should have a good car, right? I mean, these other teams have been following a ban on building the 2026 car, but Andretti, he's been doing all this work in the background for years. I mean, he's got to get credit for that, Michael Andretti. And I think Graham Loden's good. Like, had a good eye for talent. Like, he got Pascal Wehrlein, Esteban Ocon in the manner. It's a tough one, but I feel, honestly, if it was Joe Guan Yu and Perez, I know I should cut Perez some slack. I just don't see it working out for Cadillac with Perez. I just don't. I don't get it. I think you got Joe Guan Yu wants to prove himself. He's young. He still wants to get back in the car. The adrenaline's flowing. I don't see that with Perez. He's just done. It's just he's done. Why can't anyone see that? He's finished. Talking about his sponsorship. Yeah, well, I mean, you know, I just don't see it. I'm sorry, I don't see it. Oh, I don't see it at all. And no, no, I don't. If you're going to go with Joe Guan Yu, you don't need Perez. Why do you need Perez? You got all the sponsorship from the Chinese market, and then you just get the best other driver you can, or whether you get Sonoda. I think Sonoda's the obvious choice, really. I do. I think current driver, fast. We know he's how good he. We've seen him carry the V carb Alpha Tauri teams 23, 24. Right? He's got experience. Um, I like Joe Guan Yu, but if if it wasn't that's a good lineup too. Yeah, but I just don't see. I just don't see it. I can't believe. I think there's so many good F2 drivers, reserve drivers, and other drivers available. Or if you've got money, wouldn't you make a? Wouldn't you just make a play for a really good driver? As I said before, talking about Aston Martin, both the Mercedes drivers are out of contract. Russell might say no, would Antonelli might say, but how do you know? Have you made a play for them? Have you spoken to them? You can get the. That'd be a massive steal for Cadillac, but in a way, it's a massive opportunity for Russell, right? How good is this team going to be? As I said, they've been working on this car for a while. Other teams had to wait. Michael Andretti did all the groundwork, gets no credit, and they should have a good car. I don't see why they won't. Didn't they have? Wasn't he pumping this car in the wind tunnel, getting a team together, and then I don't know. But I mean, surely they can put a big money offer in for someone like Russell and Sonoda, Russell and Jack Crawford. I think that'd be a great lineup. Or I think that like put a big money offer, get a really good driver. Anyway, yeah, but it'd be good if we can get some of the talent waiting on the sidelines. If we can get them into Formula One, give them a chance. I'd like to see that.